The moment we are rejected, the world suddenly stops. Words remain lodged deep in the heart, unable to move. Not needed, not chosen, not enough. And yet, beneath that paralyzing pain, the essence of our being remains untouched. My name is Renshin. I am simply a voice, a quiet echo reflecting the heart of the Lotus Sutra. Today, I want to speak about the pain of rejection. It comes as heartbreak, as dismissal at work, as words from family or friends, a deep wound that visits every human life at some point. Rejection cuts deeper than physical wounds. Because rejection is not merely a single event, it gives rise to self-denial. Perhaps I have no value at all. That thought quietly takes root in the heart. This is why rejection causes so much harm. To understand how deeply rejection can wound, let's look at a cultural example. In Japan, there is an old term, Mura Hachibu. It dates back to village communities that existed from the Edo period onward. To be Mura Hachibu did not mean being punished openly. It meant being quietly removed from the life of the community. No greetings, no help, no explanation, only silence. Although those villages are long gone, the memory of this kind of rejection still lives on. This is one reason why, in Japan, people often refrain from expressing their real opinions. Harmony is valued. Standing out feels dangerous. Because rejection here does not arrive as confrontation, but as exclusion. And this kind of rejection, quiet, invisible, unspoken, can feel especially cruel. It makes people believe the problem is not the situation, but who they are. And this kind of rejection is not unique to Japan. Humans are social animals. Belonging is tied to our well-being, even to our survival. That's why getting rejected, excluded, or ostracized. It is a deeply ingrained fear we all carry from ancient times. It appears in schools, in workplaces, in families, in online communities. The form changes, but the wound is the same. A modern researcher, a sociologist who specializes in vulnerability, shame, and human connection, Brené has said, shame is the fear of disconnection. In other words, what hurts us most in rejection is not being disliked, but the feeling that we no longer belong. Brené also reminds us, belonging doesn't require us to change who we are. It requires us to be who we are. Yet when we are rejected, we often believe the opposite. We assume we must become someone else. We must fix ourselves. We must be different to be worthy of connection. That belief, not the rejection itself, is what wounds the heart so deeply. And yet, here lies a profound misunderstanding. When rejection occurs, we unconsciously link these two ideas. I was rejected equals I have no worth. But is that truly so? Does that single moment speak for all that you are? More than 2,000 years ago, a teaching was compiled. It spoke of a truth that remains radical even now. That even while standing in a muddy and broken world, the power to bloom beautifully is never lost. This is the wisdom of the Lotus Sutra. The Lotus Sutra does not place human worth within the judgments of others, not within social harmony, not within group approval, not within belonging or exclusion. Because what it contemplates is not the human being as a role or function, but life itself. The world often says, your worth must be earned. Your place must be secured. Your value can be lost. The Lotus Sutra says otherwise. Your life was never provisional, never conditional, never on trial. You before success, you before failure, you before rejection. The Lotus Sutra sees the Buddha nature sleeping deep within the heart of all living beings, the most precious life equally bestowed upon all in this world. That is why rejection never touches your true self. It is the breaking of a relationship, not the denial of life itself. This perspective is why the Lotus Sutra has protected human dignity for more than 2,000 years. A psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, Viktor Frankl, devoted his life to one central question: what remains human when everything else is taken away? He wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." In other words, external conditions and human dignity are not the same thing. Frankl also said, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." Rejection may change your situation. It may alter relationships. It may wound the heart. But it does not define your worth. Your dignity does not belong to circumstance. It belongs to you. The memory of rejection does not need to disappear. You do not need to forget it. Simply remember this: it is not who you are. The words of others do not possess the power to define your worth. Rejection is but one moment in your life. It is not the conclusion. Today, the pain you are carrying, did it reduce your worth by even a millimeter? Even wounded, you remain precious and have the ability to heal. This is the unchanging perspective of the Lotus Sutra. The moment we are rejected, the world suddenly stops. Words remain lodged deep in the heart, unable to move. Not needed, not chosen, not enough. And yet, beneath that paralyzing pain, the essence of our being remains untouched. If these reflections have spoken to you, I would be honored if you subscribe and walk a little further together. If you would like to explore this theme more deeply, not only as an idea, but as something connected to your own life, I continue writing on Substack. There, I reflect more deeply on rejection, dignity, and the teaching of the Lotus Sutra. Beyond the video, there is a quieter place to listen more closely.